fucking podcasting right now.
I've been getting into podcasts.
That's the podcast?
This could be a podcast.
Your podcasts.
I've also listened to several podcasts.
The portable podcast edition.
I got you a podcast.
Podcast? That's still a thing?
Yeah.
Always murder podcast.
Podcast too loud.
I'm doing a podcast.
It's called a podcast.
Look, I have a podcast.
Because I like podcasts.
So it is a fairly influential podcast.
Your podcast is a mess.
Pretend podcasting isn't boring.
I'm busy with my podcast anyways.
Welcome to the Season Podcast.
I love that song, and I love that movie so much. I realize it's not the perfect movie, but it is a fun, action-packed movie, and I just watched it again yesterday, so I was excited to watch the scene again. Hello, everybody. It is Monday night. I am the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. I am here by myself today, and I appreciate you guys joining in with me, listening, hanging out, whatever you're doing. Just make sure to rate, review, like, comment, subscribe along the way. We're building this out. We really would love for you to be a part of the ride of the Snob Nation, so we appreciate you very much. Thank you guys again for joining in. Again, I'm by myself. Casey, it's a good news. It's a good news thing. So Casey bought a home. We had talked about it previously on the show a few times, and he got one. And I'll let him show and talk about it if he wants to and all that stuff when he comes back. But I am super excited for him. I know he's super happy. It's a great feeling to buy your first home and be in there. And I'm so happy that he's in there and gets to experience it. He's moving today, so he really needed the day. He needed to just chill, not come on and deal with any of this. So I don't blame him. Casey, enjoy the new house, and I can't wait to see it. And thank you guys for joining in and hanging out. So I figured I'd change things up. I hope everybody's 4th of July was good. Mine was good. It was kind of low-key, just kind of hung out. We have the dog, and I got a couple of shows, so I was working, so I stayed home. But honestly, I don't love going out. I'm not a big fireworks guy anyway. Not that they're not beautiful when they're up in the air and it's like a really nice show. I feel like over the years, they're just starting to get more and more overdone. Growing up, it didn't feel like it was all about this huge, how big you can get these things to blow up. It was just nice, like with the music and everything. It was nice to look at. But as I've grown, like, I don't know, maybe I've become more curmudgeon-y, but I'm just not a huge fan of them. Plus, I don't like the fact that they scare my dog. And I know they scare and they upset a lot of other people and stuff too. So be careful with those fireworks, especially in your areas. Today, with everything going on, it's been a long weekend, just kind of, catching up on some things, doing some other stuff. I had stuff to do with the house to kind of figure out. So it's nice to kind of be on and hang out and do this. Without Casey, it's a little bit like jumble, because we were going to do an episode that was more on theme with like 4th of July, things like that, like we do. But it's going to be a fun episode, and what he has in store for us is going to be really good. So make sure to check that out next Monday. So I had to kind of pivot today, and with just being me, I wanted to try and figure out what we should talk about. So there's been a pretty good movement of movies this year in 2026, ones that I've really appreciated and enjoyed. So what I thought I would do is I would start with the top 5, then talk about some of the movies of this year so far that I liked or don't like, and like, where I'm at with them and stuff. And I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. Talk about it with us. Let's have a good old time. And then I'm going to do something a little different. I was going to do 4 screenplays, but I'm saving one because I wanted to brush up on it a little bit more. I realized as I was kind of like putting it down and getting it set for a pitch, because I write out a certain different thing for a pitch and stuff like that. So to pitch it, I wanted to have it fleshed out more rather than just pitch what I had. So it's going to be 3 tonight, but I'm excited to share those with you. They're all scripts. They're registered with the WGA and such. But I'm going to read my pitches to you. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. It's not like they're going anywhere. They're just screenplays that I wrote that I'm just going to share with you guys. Please don't steal them. That would be really nice. Don't take them and just do nothing with them. If you think there's value in them and you work in the industry or something, or you want to get into the industry, let's talk. I'm always about talking, but please don't steal anybody's work. It's not cool. All right, everybody. So if we're going to get started, I say we get started on our top 5 countdown of upcoming movies in 2026, and I have some honorable mentions, but I'm excited to share this one and share with me what you're excited for coming up. So there's a lot of movies that I'm interested to go see in 2026 coming out still so far. A lot of things that are kind of rumbling right now that I've been really setting aside a time, make sure that I watch this, I want to review it, things like that. A lot of cool indie stuff that's been coming out. We're going to get into like the stuff I liked this year and didn't like. But number 5 on my list is The Odyssey. I feel like this is going to be a strong contender on most people's lists for 2026. I'm super stoked for it. I love Christopher Nolan. I'm a Christopher Nolan mark. It looks cool. Yeah, I understand. Like, I was watching Troy the other day, and that's way more accurate with the costuming and stuff. When it comes to a movie like this, especially lore and things like that, like I don't, in mythological, I don't care as much. I just want to go and enjoy it. And this seems like it's going to be really fun and on point with the Odyssey. I really like the poem. After I watched Troy in 2004, I read the Iliad and the Odyssey and kind of learned more about them. I'm not by no means too in tune with all of them, but I do know the stories and I enjoy them. So I'm looking forward to see what he does with this. Now, I have had my apprehensions about Matt Damon playing a Greek king. I also have my apprehensions about, the word dad being used 3,000, 4,000 years ago, whenever it took place. So it does. I'm hoping. I mean, it's Christopher Nolan, so I like, it's kind of like a hope where I feel like I'm gonna love this movie, but I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping they definitely don't cut short on the gods aspect or any of the real fun stuff that is part of the story. All right, so number 4 on my list is Dune 3. Now, I am on record as having loved Dune Parts 1 and 2. They were so good. Everything they did for it, Denis Villeneuve is doing amazing work. His movies look amazing. Everybody in it is fantastic. The characters are all brought to life in such new ways in these movies, so I've been really enjoying it. I'm a little apprehensive about Dune 3 because it's Dune the Messiah. Now, I know the story. I've seen them. I've never read Dune the Messiah. I've read Dune, but I should probably read it before it comes out because I know that it takes place years later. And it's Leto number 2 is Leto Atreides number 2 is who is sort of follows, which is the grandson of Paul. I just don't know what they're going to do with it. Paul's heavily into this one, so they're adapting it. I don't mind that. I'm not upset by that by any means. I think Denis has a good eye. And like, whereas maybe I'm a little scared about certain things they're doing in the Odyssey, I don't have those same fears with Dune Part 3. I just hope that they're not biting off more than they can chew. I don't know why. It's just like this feeling that I have. So hope for good, hope for great. And hopefully maybe we'll get good. So I'm down with it. All right. Number 3 on my list is The Wait. The Wait is it stars Russell Crowe and Ethan Hawke, and it follows an inmate who hard labor. He's working the mines, and he's given an offer. He can get home early from the warden if he goes to a certain area in the jungle, takes some gold, and him and the other inmates, and then transport that gold back. And it has to be safe. If he doesn't get it all back, they're done. It has a very interesting vibe to it. One of my favorite movies of all time is Wages of Fear from 54. And if you haven't seen, or 53 or 54, my apologies for not remembering right at the moment. But it's a great film about men who are dying for work, because they're all out of work. In Argentina, they have nothing going for them, and then they are hired by a mining company to transport hundreds and hundreds of pounds of nitroglycerin in shaky trucks along the Amazon forest. So it's like rainforest. So it's like wild how it plays out. It's very tense. It's very crazy. I love it. It holds my attention the whole way through. It's a foreign film, so if you're not in the subtitles, you might not be into it, but don't let that stop you. But this movie has a very similar feel, and it looks like it's going to be tense too. And when I know he's going to bring the performance, and when Russell Crowe are surrounded by very good actors, he's delivering great performances. Sometimes it seems like when he's with actors that maybe aren't on his quality, he's a little lazy with it, but I feel like he's going to do really good in this. So I'm excited for that one. That's going to be a new one coming out soon. And then number 2 is The Adventures of Cliff Booth. I really liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love that movie, actually. I shouldn't say I really liked it. I thought that was such a great time. And it was for me. Filmmaker, loves movies, all about it. So, like, that movie spoke to me in a lot of ways. Lived in LA, loved the classic Hollywood look and feel. So I realize that that's not everybody's favorite in the Quentin Tarantino filmography, but it is mine. Actually, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I do know I love it. And I think it's fantastic. So this new one, Adventures of Cliff Booth, it's got David Fincher back in it. I'm kind of down. I want to see what he does with it all. I'm so excited for Brad Pitt coming back doing it too. And I think a lot of people are. I think Leonardo DiCaprio and others will be as well. So it'll be interesting. And number 1 on my list, Werewolf or Werewolf, or whatever they call it. Robert Eggers' new movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson and more. That guy's movies look brilliant. They look, man, he's got an absolutely genius eye. I love it. I can't wait to see what he does with this one. I was so excited to hear that this was his next project after Nosferatu, and I'm so surprised it's here so soon after, because that came out in December of 2024. So like 2020 in December 2026, 2 years later to come out with another one that's on the level he makes movies. Like, I can understand, like, if you make a movie in front of a green screen, right? And I'm not putting green screen movies down, like Marvel, things like that. I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying, but if you make a movie with almost the same sort of, I don't know, thinking or preparing as like you would a TV show back in the day on a soundstage, and mostly with just a set dressing there and some and green screen and stuff, I feel like that those should be quicker movies. The way Marvel shoots movies, and I understand when they're not because the actors have scheduling conflicts, and honestly, I think they shoot themselves in the foot when they do that, because they only hire bona fide celebrities to do any role in them, and I think that hurts a lot of things. But they didn't always do that too. Like Robert Downey Jr., they forget nobody wanted him, so now they just stick to that, and it gets kind of sad. Personally, for me, I think when it comes down to stuff like Werewolf, those usually take longer. I'm surprised the Odyssey didn't take longer than it did. These are genius filmmakers that are putting a lot of detail and using a lot of like filmmaking tips and tricks and things like that to go into it. And they're going quick, and I got to give it to them. They're really working out, and they have huge celebrities, piling into their movies and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. Some other honorable mentions real quick before we jump off the top 5. Of course, Avengers Doomsday. I am looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Evil Dead Burn is going to be a good one. Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. I really like David Wayne and his work. I think his comedy is so funny. I love the absurd nature of his comedy. So I'm excited for that one. I'm hearing really good things. Of course, Spider-Man Brand New Day. The End of Oak Street. That's one with Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, where they play parents and their family. The whole street is in the prehistoric times. That's at one point. It seems very Amblin-ish, so I'm kind of excited for that. How to Rob a Bank, very different. I'm excited for the look and feel of it. I think the cinematography is very intriguing from what I've seen in the trailer, and the edits look magnificent. I'm very excited to check that out. Resident Evil, Zach Cregger. He won me over. He won me over with all his movies. He's done such a great job. Digger, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Tom Cruise in it. I like Alejandro Inarritu. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. But it looks like an interesting story, and I'm anxious to kind of see what it's all about. And Clayface, the next one. I know a lot of people are down on, and that's my top 5 with honorable mentions. I know a lot of people are down with Supergirl right now. I don't understand it. I have my full review coming out. I did it with a friend of mine, and we worked on it. And we had a fun conversation about it. I don't think it's the greatest movie of all time. I don't even think it's on the level of Superman from last year. I don't think it should ever be meant to be. We need to stop holding these things like if they don't make $1 billion, they're busts. Now, I understand that this is kind of more of a bust than normal. I just don't get why. Like, I don't think it's the greatest film, but I think it's a fun blockbuster film. It keeps you engaged. I like the actors in it, but now everybody's wondering if DC's completely kaput, and that's the problem when you get a lot of movie content creators and critics, as they say, and they come on here and they're really looking for salacious things to talk about. They're looking to tear things apart. They're looking to go into all that. So when they do, they do a disservice to filmmaking. They do a service to films, and that's why the film industry, I think, has a lot of issues on top of what they've created for themselves. So, and I realize I say that as a movie content creator and a movie critic. I try to be as professional as I can be, but I can't say that's the same for everybody. Now, we've talked about the movies that are upcoming that I'm really excited for. I thought it'd be fun to talk about like some of my favorites and from this year so far, and some of the ones I really didn't like. So if you can go on my Letterboxd and you can look up anything so far this year, I think I'm around, I want to say 3. Yeah, I'm probably around 380 something films for the year that I've watched. And now that counts everything. So if I watch a short film or something like that, that counts. It's predominantly features. I tend to watch the short films at the end of the year to kind of get the buzz of what's going on, see what comes out through all of the film festivals, or if I'm a part of a film festival judging or something. I try to wait for that. I have been watching some this year. They've been really fun. One of them's on here, actually. But predominantly out of that like 380 something so far, it's mostly features. I don't sleep. That's the problem. All right. So some of my favorites from this year so far, these are 4 or more. 4 stars or more for me. No Other Choice, Korean film, fantastic. Did a great job. It came out earlier this year. The Rip got a 4 from me. A lot of people don't like the dialogue and how they keep rehashing certain things in that movie. And I've talked about it in my film review, but I don't mind it as much if the action is always moving forward. If the action's always moving forward, and what I mean by that is like the story is always propelled forward. Even just repeating those things, I don't mind dialogue as much because dialogue can get choppy anyway. And there's a lot of people who put dialogue in there that is so nonsensical because they think it's cool. So marrying myself to the dialogue ruining a movie is never really something that happens. I subscribe to the Alfred Hitchcock way of thinking that dialogue is the last thing that needs to be added. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, I thought was a huge improvement on the first one. And I liked the first one. I think the first one was like a 2 or a 3 for me. I did enjoy it, especially mostly aspects, but I did enjoy the movie as a movie overall. But The Bone Temple just elevated it right up. It did such a fantastic job. That's 4.5 for me. Good Luck, Don't Die, Have Fun. Good one. Came out of nowhere for me. Was not expecting that. That's a 4. I had such a good time with that one. Sam Rockwell kills it. The whole cast supports him well. Goat. I was surprised by this. The Goat is going to be up there for me on the animated scale. I like Toy Story 5 and stuff, and my review on it will be out on that. I'm doing that with somebody because I want to talk about the parenting angle of electronics and such. But yeah, I don't know. Good Luck. Goat is one of those ones that just really floored me. I thought they did such a great job. That was well put together. The animation was interesting. It changed its styles in a way that I like. Reminiscent and reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse, which I thought was cool. Mel Brooks, a 99-year-old man. Fantastic documentary on Mel Brooks and his life and his career. Such a great job. Happy 100th. No, you just turned 100. Heel. Do not sleep on Heel. Heel. This is about a family who kidnaps a boy and keep him trapped in his basement. When I say boy, he's about 16, 17. He's a drug addict. He causes a lot of troubles, things like that. And then he finds himself kidnapped and chained into his basement by his neck by this family. And they are trying to stop him from doing bad things. And it takes a weird, crazy turn, but in a good way that I really enjoyed and pushed the story forward. I think it's such a great movie to go check out if you get a chance. All these are reviewed, by the way. So you can always check out my full reviews. Whether you go check them out as a written review over on our Substack or Letterboxd, but I do video reviews for all these as well. Louis Theroux's Manosphere documentary. I thought I did a really good job exposing the Manosphere and what goes into it. I wish he took it a little bit farther. I wish he pushed a little bit harder. But overall, I gave it a 4 out of 5 and very highly talked about. Well done. Slanted. One of my favorites of the year. That's a 4 out of 5 for me as well. It's about a young Asian high school girl who wants to be prom queen, but it's usually given to the bubbly blonde girls. And she decides to undergo a surgery to turn her white. And she becomes a completely different person. And it's the effects of what happens on your psychology, on your family, and everything else. And it's a horror film. And it works. And they did a great job with it. I love that film. Bird Names, which is one of the shorts that I was talking about. This was a 4 out of 5. I had such a great time with it. I learned a lot about it. I got into birding. And so I suppose there's some bias on this one. I did get into birding this year, so I watched this. And to learn about how bird names are chosen and how they sometimes have to repurpose or do new bird names because of scandals and things like that. It's interesting. It was a cute little 20-minute documentary worth watch. All right. Oh, of course, Project Hail Mary, one of my favorites for the year, 4.5 out of 5 for sure. They Will Kill You, starring Zazie Beetz. Wild. You're a horror fan? Up your alley. You're an action fan? Up your alley. Watch this movie. It's so much fun. It goes to grotesque, crazy, weird places, but all worth it. All right, Obsession is 4.5 out of 5 for me. I thought this was one of the best horror films of the year so far, if not the best. It was truly fantastic. I really love this movie. Every little detail that goes into it, what Curry Barker has done, is fantastic. And I've often said, we've seen it with Zach Kreger, we've seen it with Jordan Peele, but it's nothing new. Go back and watch some of the other comedians that have maybe directed horror or starred in horror. Comedians understand the timing. They get it. They know the fine line between comedy, horror, and other things. And I do think that some comedians would make the best horror directors. And that's being proven. Backrooms, of course, 4 out of 5. I had such a great time with this. I thought this was a fantastic job. This kid, Kane Parsons, came in here, and this is not an easy thing to do. And he's been doing it for years, building his own thing. My thing with him is I'd like to see what else he has in store for us. Is it mostly Backrooms because he's been building out this tale and like that's a part of what he wants? Or does he have other movies that are going to be a part of it? I'm interested because there's this thing that's coming on with this new like creepypasta lores and stuff like that, all these internet stories, and they're starting to see that breath come in of new movies and stuff that are based on them. And I think where it missed early on, like with Slender Man and things like that, where they took them and they just tried to put them to the horror formula. Kane Parsons being young, kind of coming into that and having a different outlook where he almost encompasses you into the movie where you feel like you're in there. I wonder if this is a new direction. I'm interested because I think the creepypasta is really being tackled well by the young kids and stuff who are a part of this. All right. The Sheep Detectives, 4 out of 5 for me. This is one of my favorites of the year. This made me laugh, smile, cry, the whole nine. I had a great time with it. The entire cast is there. When you hear the Sheep Detectives, if you go into this and you're like, oh, it's not worth an Academy Award, you should probably take that fist and punch yourself in the face, because that's a stupid thing to think. Because if you go in to see a movie called The Sheep Detectives and you're expecting Hamlet, you're an idiot. But if you go into The Sheep Detectives expecting a movie about sheep detectives, you're going to be in for a fun time because it's a great movie. All right. It's a couple of things I did want to mention. These were shows that I've talked about. Widow's Bay. Widow's Bay might be one of my favorite horror shows of all time. It's a 5 out of 5 show. This first season has blown me away. Matthew Rhys has done an amazing job. Everybody in it is doing fantastic. And I just had such a great time with it. They're building so much. It's almost like marrying old urban legends with new lore and putting it on an island out in the middle of nowhere, and it just works. And I love it. And Widow's Bay is 100% check it out. His and Hers, starring Tessa Thompson and John Bernthal. Fantastic. Amazing murder mystery show. They did it. Great job. This is 4 out of 5 for me. If you haven't had a chance to see this on Netflix, the one thing I'll give Netflix, they can make some crappy stuff, and they do. I would honestly say that a majority of what they make is crappy stuff. Netflix is nothing more than a carbon copy with more money and a prettier edit than TV, and that's just TV. They have a Hallmark channel. They have murder mystery channels. They have Love Island, all that other crap, all the reality TV, everything. So like Netflix is trying to become the one, what feels like the one-stop shop. I'll watch stuff on there. I'm not a huge Netflix fan personally, but His and Hers, one of their better ones. And I chalk that up to maybe there's not much oversight. No, but His and Hers, and if they come out with the second season, which they could, I don't know if I'd need it, but they could, I'll definitely watch. The Muppet Show, which only had one episode, I gave it a 4 out of 5 on this one. They brought it back, and they did such a great job with it. And I'm afraid that Disney's not going to do anything with it. I just don't feel like they know what to do with the Muppets anymore. But I think this is it. They brought back the Muppet Show with their original, like, sort of format and what they put into it. And they did such a great job. Sabrina Carpenter was in the first episode, a few others. I liked it better than that format that they did where there was like an office style and they were behind the scenes and stuff. I want them to get back to like a more zanier type of Muppets we know. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. The Dinosaurs, 6-part documentary, again on Netflix. I think give it a 3.5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. It looks cool. The visual effects in it are cool. It's mostly animated, of course, because it's dinosaurs, but all looked realistic and nothing to, I took away from it a lot of information I didn't know. They give you a really good scope on the time of the dinosaur and periods and such. So I really did enjoy the docuseries they put out. I think it's worth a watch if you like documentaries and you like dinosaurs. So. And the other one is Cape Fear. Cape Fear on Apple TV. It's 4.5 out of 5. It's not even over yet, and it's 4.5 out of 5 because if it ends anything like the other movies that it's based on or the book, it's gonna be amazing. It really is. And Amy Adams, Javier Bardem, Patrick Wilson, all in it. Juliette Lewis is killing it in this show. And no, I'm not going to give anything away because I feel like that's a disservice. I don't like to give too much away about shows because I think going into them is a lot of fun when you go blind. But those are some of my best of the year. Those are my 4 and aboves. Like I keep a running note on all my lists and stuff, so you could see like the random movies from 2020 that I watched in 2026 that are not from 2026. There's almost like 300 movies I watched. And then the 2026 movies, I'm about 97. So like you can go on those lists and look and see what I do have on there. But so my one and a halfs are below or lower for the year. On Chevy Chase, and you're not. I was speaking about documentaries and docuseries that I watched and that I thought were really good. This was I don't know if this was trying to make Chevy Chase look good and he's just too unlikable to look good. But every bit of this, I almost kind of felt bad for the filmmakers at one point. I was like, is there no other jobs or subjects you can cover? And it's weird because you get all of these really good comedic documentaries that have been coming out. Martin Short's was good. Eddie Murphy's was good. The John Candy was fantastic. And there's a lot of Lauren I liked. There's quite a few others that came out. And they all handle it nicely. They all do different things, which I give them credit for. I really liked Martin Short and Eddie Murphy's because I think being there and being able, like having them so heavily involved helps. You know, Lawrence Kasdan directing the Martin Short documentary, they're best friends. So having him there, really being able to get in tight into stuff, and talk about things you may not have known, it was interesting to me. But this Chevy Chase one, I got a 1. Mercy with Chris Pratt. I think I got a 1 because I like Rebecca Ferguson. I know she's better than this movie, but everything in it was terrible. The Strangers Chapter 3. Every one of them was a 1 because there was this terrible trilogy. 1.5. Crime 101. I just didn't have fun with it. And I think if you're going to do a heist movie, like it wasn't a heavy drama. It felt like it was trying to be cool, but at the same time be dramatic and this, that, and it just wasn't working. Wuthering Heights. I thought that was the biggest flaw. And I don't care if it's adapted, not like the book. I know it's not like the book, but what are we doing? Why is this the story you want where you get like 2 of the sexiest people on the planet to come in and do this story, which is mostly about abuse? It's not a sexy story. They tried to make it a sexy story. It still didn't work. It was so stupid. Doesn't even deserve that much. 1.5. War Machine. I like Alan Ritchson. I think he has a great sort of scope, maybe spectrum of his acting. Like he can do a lot of different things. And this wasn't one of them. I think this one was just kind of like, this is one of those Netflix ones where I'm talking about where it just kind of comes out and this feels like bullshit. And it just seems like they stuck people in there. There's a lot of good actors that are in there. Dennis Quaid's in there. I don't like him as a person, but he's a good actor. Although I will say, I don't know if Ken says, but personally, I think his very clear politics is affecting his acting because I used to see him get into roles where I'm like, Dennis Quaid disappears. And I don't see that anymore. It almost like he brings an overacting to it. And I don't know that, especially that Reagan movie he did. It was, but War Machine, like I just was hoping for better, and it just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. Alan Ritchson, in my opinion, deserved more. Undertone, about podcasters in a horror movie. I got nothing against podcasters. Like, listen, nothing against podcasters. I do have a lot against stupid movies, and this was one of them. That's why it has a half star. Outcome. The movie was Keanu Reeves, directed by Jonah Hill. I gave it a 1.5. I think I liked a bit of the cinematography that was in it and kind of how it had some good camera angles, movements that they did. Other than that, this was an abysmal piece of garbage. I actually might take a point off for it. Jonah Hill, I don't know what you're doing, dude. I don't know whether you're full of yourself or you're trying to put forth a message that you're a victim somehow. Knock it off. These movies are stupid. 1.5. Should give it more than Outcome at this point. Propeller One-Way Night Coach. This is directed by John Travolta. Now, one thing I will say about this movie, I have a full review. I did like the aesthetics. I found it aesthetically pleasing. That's it. End of story. End of notes. And get that stupid beret off your head, John Travolta. You're not a director. And my most hated movie of the year, the one I thought was so stupid and it was trying so hard to be a classic that just didn't work and you did not understand it, is Nate Bargatze's The Breadwinner. It is tone deaf. It is stupid. He is a moron in it. And if that's how he lives his life, he's just a moron in life. Rich moron. He's a comedian. Good on you. And I'm not even saying his comedy's bad. But now that I think that he is actually like this in real life, his comedy is a little problematic. But yeah, those are some of the ones that I hated the most coming out of this year. And honestly, it's just one of those things where we had a set good number of movies. that came out, and I'm excited for the rest of them are going to come out. Make sure to check out my top 5 if you missed it earlier. We'll put that up as a clip as well. But yeah, what are you excited for? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I want to thank our sponsor, Shenanigans Gentlemen's Club up in Schenectady, New York. We appreciate you supporting and always being there for us with entertainment and great food, now on Uber Eats. And remember, everybody, if you ever find yourself up in Schenectady, New York, and you want to take a picture, just like our good buddy James did, outside of Shenanigans Gentlemen's Nightclub, you can send it to us, and we will send you a shirt from the snobsmerch.com store. We'd love to. We want those pictures. So if you ever find yourself around there, take a picture and send it off, and then get a shirt. Why not? Choose one of our designs. So I appreciate it. So I thought I would do something a little fun today. And so some of you may know, from listening to the show, worked in the film industry for a lot of years. I was more of a journeyman than anything else, like doing different jobs, stuff like that. I worked as a producer, but I've done most of the jobs that are on set. I am by no means this amazing, I feel like we, in our society, especially in the film industry or in any industry really that creates, it's almost like we have to bring ourselves to a point where this is the best and this is the best. Oh, this is the best. Oh, that's the worst. And it has to be either the best or the worst. There's never any in between. If you know the scene Snobs, there's always an in between. There has to be an in between. And that was my career. There's an in between. I always wanted to be a filmmaker. I didn't care about winning awards. I didn't care about being rich. I didn't care about being famous. I didn't want any of that. I wanted to work on movies. I wanted to meet cool people, do cool stuff, and have a good time. I wanted to live in LA. This was one of my dreams growing up. So I did. I did live in LA. I did work in movies. I worked for studios. I've done a lot of stuff. I got to produce, which is the thing I love doing more than directing. Only thing I think I love more than that is writing, and I've always enjoyed that. Now, before I got into more of the writing and the movie reviews and other movie news and stuff like that, I used to do screenplays. I used to do a lot more than screenplays, but screenplays was predominantly where it was. And I had a great time with it. So I've written a bunch of screenplays in the past that I haven't really done much with, or I'm not really, because I don't really do much with the film industry anymore. I'm mostly just in the podcasting now, and I do enjoy it. I love this. I fell in love with it after I sort of left LA and moved out of there. And I did do some work with it afterwards, but I was not living there anymore. And once you're not living there, you're really not present. And if you're not present, you're not the guy. So after falling out of that, I got into podcasting, got into video creation, things like that. And I've just been enjoying it ever since. I love reviewing movies, watching, sharing any know-how that I might have, things like that. So we go through it. But I did write a few screenplays. I wrote 7 to be exact over the course of that time since I left, which was 2011. I left 2013. I'm where I am now. And then once I had my wife, my kids, I'm not planning on going back to, back into filmmaking outside of doing stuff for myself. So, but I did write. I kept it up. They're all registered with the WGA. So I ask you not to steal any of this stuff because it is registered. And then I just don't want to do court and stuff. But if you like them, I'm open. Just reach out to me and let's talk. And who knows? Maybe I'll make them myself one day. I figured it would be kind of fun. I used to pitch a lot of screenplays. I used to be pretty good at it, where other people would have me pitch their screenplays too. A good talker. Hence, I'm here. So I'm going to read off 3 screenplays to you guys that I wrote. Don't steal them. Like I said, that's all I ask. Don't steal them. All right. Scream. Working title. A horror comedy feature pitch. Genre is horror comedy. It's a feature film. The comparisons are Ready or Not meets Cabin in the Woods, with the found footage meets live broadcast energy of Late Night with the Devil. Logline. When a struggling podcast Halloween seance goes wrong, 2 lifelong friends and their crew get pulled into the gauntlet of a viral internet demons and must beat them at their own game, one live stream at a time, to save their souls, their friendship, and their show. All right. Oh, God. Won't talk too much and yelling. All right. I realize there's going to be some silly names in here. They're not set to be the main names. Bear with me. I threw some stuff in there and paid homage to certain people. The pitch. Aaron and Mike have hosted the Film Fans podcast since they were kids, trading movie opinions in Mike's basement. Now adults, joined by their producer and third mic Rachel and engineer Derek, they've spent a year watching their little passion project explode into a real audience, and watching that growth quietly poison what made it fun. Mike's chasing bigger stunts. Aaron's ready to walk. Rachel and Mike have feelings for each other, and neither is said out loud. Enter Paul Demonati. I know. A demonologist Mike found on Reddit. booked for a real seance on their biggest live show of the year, Halloween night. Cameras rolling. It goes exactly as badly as everyone but Mike had feared. Paul is a literal demon, and he pulls Mike, Aaron, and Rachel through a vortex live on the air, leaving Derek barricaded in the booth, forced to keep the show running or watch his friends die. Paul's plan? He's the original Crossroads demon, cast out of hell for refusing to modernize, while his 6 demon peers became the biggest influencers on the internet, harvesting souls by the millions through their channels. Paul wants back in and back on top. And to do it, he needs all 7 of their power tokens combined into one relic that can open the gates of hell itself. Using an enthralled, unknowing Mike and his unwitting collector, Paul bounces Aaron, Rachel, and Mike through demon-hosted live streams, a beauty influencer's makeover show, a haunted video game, a cooking show where they're the main course, a screaming ASMR studio with deadly invocations, a yoga off with life or death stakes. Each one self-contained set piece where they have to play a demon at their own game. Each one of a self-contained set piece where they have to outplay a demon at their own game to steal their token. It's Cabin in the Woods by the way of algorithm. Every corner of online content weaponized. The gauntlet strips away the group's pretenses. Old resentments surface. Rachel and Mike finally say what they've never said. Aaron and Mike confront what fame did to their friendship and what it hasn't managed to kill. When Paul's nearly succeeds, it's not a big heroic swing that saves the day. Mike's attempted Superman punch gets him caught and mocked for telegraphing it because it's a stupid move. It's Aaron and Mike's stand and the Matchbox car Mike gave him when they were 6 years old, thrown like a lifeline into the eye of the demon. They win, they survive, they end the stream, shaken but together. And then Satan himself steps through the portal, not for revenge, but to say thanks for taking out the 7 best demons, and to toss Aaron his Matchbox car back with a promise he might have more work for them someday. And that is what I've dubbed Scream at the moment, or Scream Stream at the moment. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Again, don't steal it. I appreciate you. That is a full script that I put together. That was one I was writing just for fun. I was having a really good time with it. Every scene, it was loosely based on one of my favorite guilty pleasures, Stay Tuned, starring John Ritter, who I adore. I love John Ritter as a comedian. Rest in peace forever. It was one of those movies like where they're jumping channels and cable and things like that. And I just had a good time with it because it was always a different setting. So it was always bringing you to a different sort of adventurous type feel. So when I was making this, I kind of had that in mind, and like how does it kind of pull together and things like that. It was a really fun one to work on. I had such a good time with that one. This next one is a little more personable. So this one is actually a drama that I wrote. So it's called The Quiet of Davison, a Southern Gothic drama. Oh, excuse me. Drama mystery. I'm not used to being the only one talking on this podcast, so you're going to have to excuse me for a second. I'm not Tim Dillon, all right? I enjoy the repertoire of my friends when they're on. Genre, drama, mystery. Format, feature film. Comparisons is Mississippi Burning meets Boy Erased, with small town conspiracy tension of sharp objects. Logline, 1960s, rural Georgia. A school teacher haunted by his brother's death refuses to let a small town bury the truth about a gay teenager's murder. Even as the investigation costs him everything, leads him straight to the one man with the power to keep it hidden. All right, here we go. The pitch. Joe Willis teaches at the high school in Davison, Georgia, a town that runs on silence and good manners. When one of his students, Charlie, is found beaten to death in the town park, the sheriff rules it a suicide within a day. And Davison, knowing exactly what kind of boy Charlie was, is all too willing to let the matter close. Joe can't let it close. He'd taken a quiet, protective interest in Charlie, the kind of gentleness the boy got nowhere else in a town that mocked him and isolated him. Joe's kindness wasn't incidental. It was a penance. As a boy, Joe caught his brother kissing another boy in secret, and not understanding what he was doing, mocked him for it in front of their parents. His father's beatings started that day and never really stopped until his brother took his own life. Joe has carried the guilt ever since that day. He couldn't protect his brother. He is determined to protect Charlie. He failed at that too. So Joe starts asking questions the town has already agreed not to ask. It costs him fast. His girlfriend distances herself, neighbors go cold, and Daniel, the star athlete who tormented Charlie mercilessly, turns the town's suspicion back on Joe, insinuating he was Charlie's secret lover to deflect from himself. Joe keeps digging anyway, through threats and violence and the particular cruelty of a town that would rather destroy one of its own than face what it did. The truth, when Joe finally reaches it, is worse than anyone let themselves to imagine. Daniel wasn't Charlie's tormentor by accident. He was also his secret lover, and the two had been meeting in the park for secret for months. The night Charlie died, it wasn't a stranger or a mob. It was Daniel's father, the sheriff, who found them together and beat Charlie to death in a blind rage, while Daniel watched frozen, crying, unable to stop it. The sheriff buried the case to bury his son's secret, and by extension, his own shame. Joe brings the evidence back to Davison, and in the film's climax, doesn't just accuse the sheriff, he indicts the whole town. Every person who chose comfort over truth. There's no triumphant justice here, no tidy arrest. Joe takes a job elsewhere and leaves Davison behind, understanding that real change in a place like this won't come in his lifetime, but that bearing witness, even alone, even at cost, was the only way to finally answer for what he couldn't stop the first time. Whew, excited. What do you guys think so far? FYI, I wouldn't pitch your screenplays live unless they're copyrighted or you don't care about someone taking your concept. Like, it's easy for someone else to take your idea. I know. And it will happen regardless. They're all registered on WGA, so if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I do understand that. This was almost and I appreciate that. Officially Dan G. I appreciate you saying that. But and it's good advice. But this was one of those things where I really weighed the options, and they're never going to get pitched. They're never going to be anywhere. I don't know that I could make them. I don't have the backing for it. Not that I want to see them taken. I would rather work with people about them, but I'm going to share them. And what happens, happens. I do understand. I get it. And I have the full scripts done. But regardless if I do or don't, I understand. It'll be okay. Hopefully. All right. Last one. This isn't all I've got, but this is the last one I'm going to pitch tonight. Hotel California. This is a personal one. It's a psychological horror thriller, feature film. The Shining meets Jacob's Ladder with a surreal purgatory dread of 1899, and the doomed outlaw romance of Bonnie and Clyde. I did enjoy that. Two 1970s bank robbers pull off the score that's supposed to buy them a new life at a dream Southern California resort. But when the job goes fatally wrong, one of them wakes up inside a hotel that never lets its guests leave and has to unravel 5 years of false memories to learn the truth. He's already dead, and staying means he'll always will be. Jack and Daisy are small-town crooks running a decade-long streak across America, one last big score away from the life they've promised each other. Sun, relaxation, and all-inclusive stay at the resort they've fantasized about for years, the Hotel California. They finally take a shot at the bank too big for them. It goes bad. An undercover cop puts a bullet in Daisy and then in Jack. Jack wakes up in a hotel bed. The cash is on the table. The shower's running. Everything looks fine until he wakes up and walks in expecting Daisy and finds a stranger, Kate, who tells him they've been partners and lovers for years. Daisy, she says, is his ex-partner. They split up after a heist gone wrong years ago and haven't spoken since. And today, of all days, they're both invited to her wedding, to a man named Laszlo at his hotel, this same hotel. Every time Jack leaves a room, he loses his footing in reality, forgetting faces, numbers, entire conversations, like a dream sliding out from under him. He tracks down Daisy, who tells him a story that doesn't fit anything he remembers. They survived the heist, made it to the hotel as planned, and Laszlo nursed them back to health. And she fell in love and stayed. Jack left, and it's taken years to work up the nerve to invite him back just to make peace. Jack goes through the wedding weekend's motions while investigating what's actually happening to him. The hotel starts showing him what it really is. The rehearsal dinner curdles into a nightmare. The feast moves. The guests chant and stab at living food. Their faces gone wrong. Kate seduces him and then tries to sacrifice him mid-embrace. He barely escapes. Then Daisy finds Daisy again and forces the truth out of her. She never left the heist alive. She gave up trying to escape years ago and left the hotel and let the hotel absorb her, the way it absorbs everyone who stays. Laszlo finally confronts Jack directly, not as a rival, but as something like a warden, telling him to stop running and join them. It's here Jack learns that one thing keeping him different from every other trapped soul in the building: he's still alive. He never succumbed. That's why he can't feel the horror. Still resist, still fight. Cornered, Jack sets the hotel on fire and faces Laszlo one final time. A fight he's clearly meant to lose, until he kills Laszlo with his own cane in a desperate final swing. The window it opens is small, but it's enough. Jack runs and the hotel folds in on itself behind him, crumbling all away. Vanishing into nothing. Eventually vanishing into nothing. He's alone in the middle of the desert. Alive or not, the film never confirms. In the final scene, a different man, Jacques, identical to Laszlo, meets a new arrival at a hotel called the Chateau, somewhere in France. The cycle isn't over. It's just wearing a different name. And those are the pitches. You should post them on Blacklist or Stage 32 pitch. I think I might do that. I'm on both. So I appreciate you saying that. Officially Dan G, I appreciate you. If you're passion writing, mine is don't give up. Say you'll never make it. Keep pushing. I appreciate that. I think I'm just old now. And again, it's not that I did the work in the film industry that I really am proud of. Am I still working in it? No, but a lot of people aren't. No, and I joke, of course. And I do agree with you. Never give up. Keep going, keep pushing. I found new things to get into that still evolve around the world of film industry and movies that I really enjoy and love. And it still allows me for the time that I have. These stories, God willing, they don't get stolen. If they're not made with anybody else, I may make them. Maybe not. I don't know. It's not that I want them to go to waste. It's just that funds and what these movies are and things like that. Plus, I'm also, I'm just at that point right now where I don't have the time to make a movie. I got a few things coming up, but I did want to share those. I wanted to talk to other people out here who like films and things like that. Do I see them getting taken? No, I don't think enough people listen to the show. Unless you tell everybody. Please don't tell anybody. Oh, look at Ian McKellen. He's 80 and he's going to be in the new Avengers movie. Deservedly so. He's so good. Ian McKellen is, I'm not talented like Ian McKellen. I do appreciate your kind words though, Dan. I really do. But, there's other reasons for it as well. Again, don't steal my scripts. Those are the movies that I'm excited about coming out for 2026. And some of my favorites that have already come out and some of the worst that have already come out. I'm excited to come back next week. Casey and I are really planning out a fun one for you. We're going to be talking about different types of governing through movies. We're going to share it through that, and we're going to have a good time and good talk about it. So hopefully you guys can join in for that. Popcorn and Pints this week is going to be a weird, wild one. We're watching The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, which is a very offensive movie, and Disco Beaver from Outer Space. We have just finished the Batman and Superman run where we watched all the live-action Batman and Superman movies together, and it took so much. It took a lot, and then we finished with the Supergirl movies. And then we just continued on our King-tastic voyage where we watch all the Stephen King movies for the next 2 years, once a month, one weekend out of the month. We're going to watch two or more Stephen King movies, depending on how many remakes there have been. And just kind of continue on from there. We just did Cujo and Silver Bullet for July 4th. Hopefully you guys enjoy that one. And then we'll be doing our Nolan run again. We're 2 more weeks on our Nolan run. This month we'll be doing Interstellar and Oppenheimer. Next month we'll be doing The Odyssey and Following, his first and his most recent movie. So hopefully join in for that. Lots of fun stuff going on. We truly appreciate you. I'm going to kind of head out of here. It's kind of a short show since it's just me. I want to thank you officially, Dan G, for hanging out with us. Let's see what this quote is. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. If you doubt your powers, you bring your power to your doubts. You bring power to your doubts. That is solid advice, my friends. You're absolutely right. Guys, thank you again so much. If you guys do enjoy the show, please rate and review us if you're listening to it on any one of the podcast platforms. Really helps us go a long way, and we really, truly appreciate it. If you're watching this here over on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. really helps us build out the channel, get better in the algorithm, and find more movie lovers just like you. We'd love for you to be a part of it. This is not just a channel with this podcast. We have lots of shows that come out each week, movie reviews and more. And we'd love for you to just be there and hang out, be part of the Snob Nation. If you want to join up on our Patreon, we have a free tier that has our updates and things like that. You can go check that out. And we have paid tiers that have perks available as well and things like that. But honestly, I will say, follow us at The Scene Snobs all over social media and on Substack and Letterboxd, where we do written reviews of all these movies. But honestly, here's where I go. I want to say thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Just 18 more episodes left of the Scene Snobs podcast. Halloween night. Make sure you're joining in with us each week. This is episode 436. All of our shows, you can go back and listen to at any time because they are the type of shows that they're just kind of more free. We're not tied down week by week on what we're talking about and things like that. We come up with some absurd topics. And we have some great conversations that last the test of time because movies last the test of time. Thank you guys again. I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Thank you again to officially Dan G for being a part of it. High Hopes by Panic at the Disco. I do like that song a lot. Until next time, everybody, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Talking about it with, actually just say it with Casey's, take care of yourself. That's important. That's his line. I usually use it too, but that's his line, and he's very right. You gotta take care of yourselves. That's what's important. And be kind, rewind. And until next time, I will talk to you. Bye.
Just wrapping up my podcast.